Can a $500 marketplace motorcycle be brought back to life? And is it actually worth it? I just bought this 1974 Honda CL360 for 500 bucks. And today we find out if it's savable or just scrap. Every time I start a bike project, I run through 4 steps. First, I check the oil. Second, check the compression. Third, confirm spark. And 4, verify the fuel flow. Let's start with the oil. Pull the dipstick, and it has a decent amount. It's not perfect, but it's a good sign. That's usually an easy one to knock off the list. It either has oil or it doesn't. And if it doesn't have oil, you put oil in it. If it does, then you don't. Now let's check the compression. The pieces are still falling off the bike, but we can fix that. I want to check the spark plugs while I'm here, just to see what kind of condition they're in. They look brand new. Perfect. When I'm checking compression, I'm looking for anything over 100 PSI. I know 100 PSI, we can make it work. Yeah, that's good enough for me. You can also check compression by putting your thumb over the spark plug hole, and if it blows it off, you know you got enough compression. All right, let's check the other side. Another brand new looking spark plug. Same thing here, we're looking for anything over 100. Oh yeah, that'll work. Great, so we can knock compression off the list. Let's go ahead and move over to spark and get those spark plug boots fixed. These spark plug boots are actually easy to put back on. You pull this rubber piece off, and if you look down in there, you see tiny little screws. You could just screw that back onto the wire. Once you get it on there, slide the boot back up and give it a tug just to make sure it's on there good. And then we'll do that on the other side as well. Looks pretty clean too. Like we don't have to worry about corrosion or anything. I try not to jump around too much, but I'm so curious of what this gas tank looks like on the inside. It's surface rust, not the best, but could be worse. So we'll take that off and set it aside. All right, back to spark, and a big part of spark is electrical, and you can't do that without power. This is just a 12-volt jump box, and that allows us to use this instead of buying a battery while we're trying to figure out if this bike is savable. So we'll go ahead and test spark, and we have nothing. After looking at wiring diagrams, it looks like we need the hand controls as well as the gauges for the bike. Luckily for us, the previous owner gave us a bucket full of parts. And it looks like we have all the pieces that we need to complete this circuit. Now we're in for a real challenge. If we can get all these wires hooked back up in the right places, we should have a completed electrical system. I'm no expert on wiring or electrical by any means, but this is just matching wires. If the same colors match, plug them in. And I just keep going until I'm out of wires to plug in. This harness splits off into 2 pieces, and I've got the first leg of this harness done, but I still have to do the other leg. And this side is just a rinse and repeat of the other side. We're matching up wires. Now, it may be easier in this case to look at the wiring diagram and see exactly which ones need to be hooked up, but I'm just going to hook them all up, and that's one less thing I have to worry about. And we're done. That's all the gauge wires and all the hand control wires hooked up. All right, let's see if we got spark. And still nothing. While I was testing spark, I noticed that this starter doesn't have any bolts in it. Well, since it's already out, let's test and see if it works. I don't know if this is the most scientific way to test a starter, but you just clamp a ground onto it, and then on the stud that comes out, attach your positive to it, and if it's alive, it'll spin up. Hey, one less thing to worry about. It doesn't sound the best, but it's actually spinning, so it's good. All right, since I'm not getting spark, I need to go back to the source, which is the battery, and the next in line is the fuses. So I want to check, make sure they're all there, and also check continuity. Checking continuity is just a way to check and make sure the fuses are not blown. And it looks like we're all good. So either I've missed something or something down the line is not working like it should be. So back to the wiring diagram. It looks like the key needs to be in the 2nd position and not the 3rd position. So we can grab the multimeter and we can check the key in the 2nd position and make sure that it's getting 12 volts. Aha, that's it. Now let's see if we got spark. There we go, one more thing off the list. So we got oil, we got compression, we got spark. Next up is fuel. In that big bucket of parts, we have the original carburetor, and it looks like it's in pretty good condition. The choke actuates, but the throttle slide does not. So we'll tear it apart and see what the inside looks like. I think for the amount of hammering that I have to do to get this bowl off is not a good sign. Yeah, gross. Completely glazed over. We got pretty lucky on this bike so far, but this is definitely a bump in the road. I used to look at carbs like these tiny gas-filled magic boxes, but after taking enough of them apart, they're just little machines that will judge you if you don't give them enough attention. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to give them a bunch of attention. I'm going to try to get as many parts off of them as possible and get them put in the ultrasonic cleaner. Over here on the opposite side, these are the diaphragm covers. I want to see if I can get the slides out. I mean, they are in there. This is not proper procedure, but if I can get them freed up, I could get them in the ultrasonic cleaner. Let's pull some of these jets out. I mean, it's completely jammed up. And so is this one. I'm just going to get this thing in the ultrasonic cleaner the way it is. Ooh, as I'm putting this in here, I remember we didn't take the chain for the starter off, so we definitely need to get that out. As of right now, I don't know what the future of this bike looks like. I definitely want to get the chain out so it doesn't get broken while we try to start it. Look at the patina on that. There's just something about an old bike, man. So typically when I buy a bike off Marketplace and just trying to get it running, I don't ever crack this side case. I'm just doing this to get the chain off. But it does give me a little insight on kind of what the internals look like. Alright, so it looks like this chain is already bound up a little bit. So, see if I can't get that out of here. There we go. And this is one big magnet, so it kind of sticks to it. But I'll show you kind of how the chain lays if I can get it off this magnet. So it goes around these gears right here. And this hole up at the top is where the starter comes through at. Right here. And then this thing just sits here and spins. So we'll go ahead and get the chain off and we'll just set it aside for later. Looks like it's in good shape though. I'm going to go ahead and put this side cover back on. Everything looked pretty good in there, minus the side cover gasket had a couple pieces missing, but I'm going to get it torqued back down just enough where we can test it. Alright, let's hope things are loosened up a little bit so we can take it fully apart. And after 2 hours of attention and a couple more runs in the ultrasonic cleaner, here it is. It's almost spotless. All the mechanical parts function like they're supposed to. And look how clean the bowl came.
Wow.
I was even able to get all the jets cleaned out. And here are the slides that were seized up inside of the carb. It's pretty important that these slide up and down freely inside the carb so you don't have a sticky throttle. And just to be safe, I bought a rebuild kit from Common Motors so I can use as many new components as possible. So let's get this carb rebuilt and get a little bit closer to checking one more thing off the list. Alright, so here's the deal. You're almost 10 minutes into this video. And this is my first real attempt at a full-length, long-form video. And I'm kind of figuring out the style as I go. I've been experimenting with how to tell the story, mixing in some tips, a bit of humor, and just being real about the process. It's kind of a hybrid voiceover style where I explain what I'm doing, share a few tricks I picked up along the way, and hopefully make it enjoyable to watch. I'm not entirely sure what works best for long-form videos like this, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Does this style feel right, or would it be cooler to see more hands-on action? Your perspective genuinely helps me shape what these videos look like. More than anything, I hope this shows that taking on a project, even one that feels intimidating at first, is totally doable. You don't need all the answers at the start. A little patience, curiosity, and willingness to make mistakes can turn something that seems impossible into something you're proud of. Maybe it'll inspire someone else to tackle their own build or even just pick up a wrench and try something new. Now that we've got the carb rebuilt, we can go ahead and slide that back on. We can temporarily solve our rusty tank issue with one of these. And since this bike has 2 carburetors, we'll have to tee off the fuel line to get fuel to both. After some clever routing, I think it's safe to say that we can knock fuel off the list as well. So far, everything looks good. We have oil, we have compression, we have spark, we have fuel. Now it's kind of the big moment. Will this thing start? So we'll get the leads hooked back up so we have 12 volt power. We'll get the key turned on. I definitely want to give this thing a big, strong first kick. First kick. It's hard to believe. There's no telling how long it's been since this bike has actually run, but we're not in the clear yet. This thing is dumping oil like an old metal fruit gusher. And here it is again, in case you missed it. It's safe to say that we created this problem. When I took that side cover off to take the starter chain off, part of the gasket ended up not in there anymore, so that's where the oil leak's coming from. So to answer the question, can a $500 marketplace motorcycle be brought back to life? Yes, this one can be. And was it worth it? Yeah, absolutely. The question now is, what do we do with it?